So we're at the top of 11.8. We're going to do these two problems first. Find the volume of the composite solid. So we can break each of these solids down into two shapes. What is the top shape of my first question? It's not rectangular. It is triangular and a pyramid. Okay, so we got a triangular pyramid. What is the volume formula for any pyramid? 1/3 area of the base times the height. So we want to find the area of the base. We said the shape of the base is a triangle. So the only things that we are given for the triangle are 5 from the bottom and 13. What kind of triangle is this?
A right triangle.
It is a right triangle. Which of these sides can never be used in the area formula? 13 because it's the hypotenuse. So we need to figure out the other side so that we can actually use the area formula. So how do I find the missing side on a right triangle? Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we are missing, we could say b. So we have 5 squared. Because essentially we just have a right triangle, a 5, a 13, and we don't know this side. We need it though. So 5 squared plus b squared equals 13 squared. 5 squared is 25 plus b squared equals, correct. Subtract 25. B squared equals 145. Last step. Take square root. So then that missing side is 12. So go ahead and write it in. The top and the bottom is fine. So 12 and 12. All right, so what is the area formula for any triangle? 1/2 base times height. So what are the base and the height? 5 and 12. 5 and 12. You can do 5 times 12, which is 60, and then half that, which is 30. So the area of the base is 30. And then what is the height of the pyramid? It is not 8. It is 5. Okay, what's 1/3 of 30? 10 times 5 is 50. So that's the volume of the first shape. Okay, we need to find the volume of the second, the bottom. Is the bottom a prism or a pyramid? It's a prism. And it has the same shape base, so it is also triangular. Prism. What is the volume formula for any prism? Area of the base times the height. Well, it has the same shape base as the top did. So what is the area of the base? It's 30. And then times the height of the prism only. It is 8. So the height was 8. So 30 times 8 is 240. And then what do I do with these two numbers to find the total volume? I'm going to add them. 50 plus 240 is 290 centimeters cubed. The second question is kind of different because there's not one shape on top of the other. There's a shape and then there's a shape cut out of it, right? So what are we going to end up doing with these two? We're going to end up subtracting them. So I'm going to find the volume of, let's say, the outer shape. The outer is a prism, right? So it's a prism. How do you find the volume of any prism? Area of the base times the height. What shape is the base? Rectangle. You could just look at the bottom for this. What is the area formula for any rectangle? Length times width. So area equals length times width. So the length and the width of the bottom are 2018. 20 times 18 is 360. And then times the height of the prism, 16, which is a big number. What is it? 5,760. So that is, if all of it were filled in, it'd be 5,760, but some of it has been cut out. So let's find the volume of the second shape. The shape that's cut out, is it a prism or a pyramid? It is a pyramid. So we got a pyramid. What is the base of the pyramid? It is a rectangle as well. So a rectangular pyramid. The volume formula for a pyramid is 1/3 area of the base times the height. The base is a rectangle. So again, you would do length, which is 20, times width, which is 18. We already did that. So it is 360. And then times the height of the pyramid from the very top to the very bottom of the pyramid. 16. So however you want to do this, I would do 1/3 of 360 is 120. And then times 16. However you want to do it. What is the volume of the pyramid? 1920. So then go ahead and subtract these two, and we will get our final volume. 3,840, and it is inches cubed. Perfect. So now we're going to talk about spheres. Okay, I'm going to write on the board for a second. Let's go back. We've learned about, we'll do volume first. We've learned about a prism, right? What is the volume formula for any prism? Area of the base times the height. We've learned about a pyramid, and the formula for a pyramid is
1/3 the area of the base times
1/3 the area of the base times the height. The last one is a sphere, which we'll learn today. All three of these are on the reference sheet that you'll be allowed to use during the test. The surface areas, however, will not be on the reference sheet. So surface area for, let's say, a cone, what did it look like? Pi r squared, and then what?
plus pi RL.
Pi RL. So we're going to learn the surface area for a sphere. Okay, and it comes from, if you took a sphere apart, how many circles it forms. So I'll show you that in a second. But a sphere in general, you have a picture of them. All you need to know or note on yours is, we all know that a sphere is just a three-dimensional circle, correct? So all the terms we use for a circle, they apply to a sphere. So you still have a radius, you still have a center, you still have a diameter, and then it says a chord, but we won't really ever see that in any of the formulas. Okay, so a sphere is set of all points that is equidistant from a given point. There's a center, a radius, a chord, and a diameter. What are some spheres that you see in real life? Any ball, right? What else? A wheel is not a sphere. I'm going to tell you we live on one. The Earth. Okay, if you think that it's not a circle or sphere, leave your wrong opinions to yourself. We know the right thing. So the sphere can be broken up into two parts. We call those hemispheres. Just like with the Earth, there's the eastern and the western. You have northern and southern hemisphere. So if you ever see half of a sphere, we call it hemisphere. But the surface area of a sphere, and you can go ahead and write it down, is 4 pi r squared. So go ahead and write it in the blank. 4 pi r squared. 4 pi r squared. So where do we think pi r squared comes from? The area of a circle. Because here's why. If you've ever taken apart a baseball, it makes 4 circles. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. So 4 pi r squared. And we'll use it here. Find the surface area of each sphere. So surface area equals 4 pi r squared. What is the radius? 8. So you plug in 8 for the radius. 8 squared is 64. And then just multiply all the way across. 4 times 3.14 times 64. And we get 803.84. And it is inches. Remember that this is surface area, so it is inches squared. On the second question, we're giving something different. We're not given the radius, but we can find it. What does C represent? Circumference. So what we want is surface area equals 4 pi r squared. What we don't have is the radius, but we can find it. How do we find the circumference if you're given the radius? Correct. C equals 2 pi r. So what we can do to find the radius, if we know what C is 12 pi, we can find the radius. So circumference is 12 pi. We plug it in. 12 pi equals 2 pi r. You could honestly use your brain a little bit. You can finish the algebra, but 2 times pi times the radius gave me 12 pi. So what did I have to multiply by 2 pi to get 12 pi? 6, which is the radius. If you did not follow that, that's fine. You would just divide by 2 pi. The pi's cancel, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So either way we do it, the radius is 6. So once we know what the radius is, we can plug in the radius. So we do 4 pi times my radius, which we said was 6, and then squared. 6 squared is 36. So 4 times pi times 36, and we get 152? 452.16. Okay, and then it is feet. Well, it's okay. Feet squared. All right, find the diameter of the sphere. This is the last surface area formula I think we do, or problem we do. Find the diameter of the sphere. So, we know the surface area formula gives us the radius. So what we can do is use this. What does this S stand for? Surface area. So they gave us the surface area. We can use 20.25 pi to find the radius. So we're going to plug the surface area in for S. So 20.25 pi equals 4 pi r squared. So I want to solve for r. How do I get r squared by itself first? Correct. Divide by 4 pi. The pi's will cancel. What is 20.25 divided by 4? I would not round here. I would just leave it in your calculator. It is 5.0625. 0.0625. And then what is my last step to find the radius? Square root. So r equals 2.25, and it is centimeters. But before you circle it, is that what it asked for? It is not. So how do I find the diameter, which is what it asked for? Multiply times 2. So we get 4.5, and it is centimeters. Good. So that is how you find surface area. The last one is volume. So we're going to find the volume of a sphere. Already did that. Volume of a sphere. Go ahead and write it in, and then I'm going to tell you how to use a 4-function calculator with this. 4/3 pi r cubed is the volume formula. 4/3 pi r cubed. So the most common thing that people make mistakes on is they don't put a cube here, they put a squared. But remember that volume is cubed, so there's a cube. But also these 3's should match. Okay, so if you have a 4-function calculator, this is not super difficult to do. Let's talk about 4/3. What is 4/3 as a mixed number? Is 1 1/3. So it'd be 1 point. What is 1/3 as a decimal? Not just 3. It's 3, 3, 3. It never ends, right? So you don't want to type in 1.3 or that will be super rounded and then you're going to round at the end. I would at least have 4 of them so that you are trying to be as exact as possible. So if you have a 4-function calculator, do 1.3333 just so you have 4/3 to the best of your estimation. So find the volume of the soccer ball. Volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. What is the radius? It is 4.5 cubed. So what is 4.5 times 4.5 times 4.5? 91.125. So 91.125. All right, so now you just type all of it in your calculator. Again, if you have a 4-function, you just type in 1.3333 times pi times 91.125. And our final answer, what does volume equal? What is it? 381.5, and it is inches. It's volume, so cubed. Questions about volume? Okay. So this one kind of mixes them. The surface area of a sphere is 324 pi square centimeters. Find the volume of the sphere. So let's kind of write this out. What is the surface area formula for a sphere? 4 pi r squared. And the volume formula of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. What do they have in common? The radius, right? So we can find the radius and then plug the radius in. So they told us the surface area is 324 pi. So we will plug that in. 324 pi equals 4 pi r squared. Remember that our goal is to solve for r. So we need to get r squared by itself. What is my first step to get r squared by itself? Correct. Bless you. Divide by 4 pi. What is 324? Divided by 4 is 81. Good. And then last step is to take the square root, and the radius is 9. So this is what we plug in for the radius in our volume. 4/3 pi times 9 cubed. What is 9 times 9 times 9? Correct, 729. So 4/3 times pi times 729. Bless you. 3,052, and that's it. Centimeters cubed.
0.001 something.
Yeah, that's good. Good. I think we have one more. It is a composite solid. So in this one, were 2 shapes added together, or was one shape cut out of the other? One shape is cut out of the other. So that means we're going to end up subtracting the 2 volumes. So this shape, let's talk about the outer. What is the outer shape? It's a cylinder, which has what kind of formula? Like a prism formula. So volume equals area of the base times the height. All right, what shape is the base? Circle. How do you find the area of a circle? Pi r squared. The radius is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 12 is, 4 times 3.14 is 12.56. Then times the height of the cylinder, and the height of the cylinder is 2. Good. So 25.12 is the volume of the first. So the inside shape is what? It's half of a sphere, which we call a hemisphere. But we can find the volume and then later remember that we have to half the volume. Okay? So the volume formula for a sphere is the same we've been using, 4/3 pi r cubed. So of my sphere, or half sphere, what is the radius? 2. 4/3 pi times 2 cubed. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So what is 4/3 times pi times 8?
16.75.
It is not. I'm not doing the half yet. I'm asking the whole volume.
Oh.
If all of this were filled in, the volume would be 33.49. But we only want half the volume, so we are going to half 33.49, which then it makes 16.75. All right, so these are the volumes of the outer and the inner. We do subtract them to find the total volume. So 25.12 minus 16.75, and we get 8.37, and it is inches cubed.